Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Wendy's fast food restaurant, including a drive-thru for all of your city building needs. This is a nice, clean, modern designed Wendy's that I thought that you guys would enjoy adding to your cities and towns and villages and, well, whatever else you guys are working on. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I spent loads of time building this one. I got loads of requests to make it, so I wanted to make it perfect for you guys. I've really been appreciating how much you guys have been loving the videos recently, and I really love making city related builds, so I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all of you very, very much. Not only that, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button to check out all of the other upcoming city builds that I'm going to be making in the future. And I am also going to make the inside of Wendy's as well. You might even be getting a sneak peek of that right now. You'll have to wait until the end to actually see how the inside of this build is made and what it looks like. But without any further ado, let's get started. Now, just before we start building, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know that this build is split into two parts. The first part is going to focus on the outside of the building, which is going to require all of these materials that you can see on the screen right now. You should also be able to see the amounts of the materials that you need as well. This is what we're going to be needing to start off with, so please gather those, make sure you have enough. However, later on, once we are finished with the outside building, we are going to be working on the inside of the build as well, which requires a whole different set of materials, which are these ones right here. You won't need these until later, and I will be showing you these again, but just in case there's some surprise materials which are hard for you to gather, that is what we're going to be needing. But that is later, I will be showing you again. The amount of space required to make Wendy's is a 23 by 22 block area. This includes a drive-thru which is going to go around the outside of the building. So if you don't want a drive-thru, it actually requires a little bit less space. I'd recommend making the grid if you're building this in the city to help plan out the build. And that's it. Pause the video if necessary. Gather those materials, make sure you've got enough room, make sure you're ready to make a delicious fast food restaurant, and once you are ready, we can begin. So step one, ladies and gentlemen, my modern city builders, I want you to come all the way to the front left hand corner of the grid. If you haven't made the grid, it's no big deal, just hang in there 1 second. From this front left hand corner, count right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then inwards, 1, 2, 3, 4. For those of you that have made the grid, this is the starting position, and we're both now starting in the same place. On top of this block, place 4 white concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend down to the ground. But it's also important to take the 5th block that you extended across, place a black concrete behind that block, and extend the black concrete in a couple of different directions. Number 1, upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Also, to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. You then want to extend upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. And down only by 2. 1, 2. I want you to place a terracotta block underneath that second black block and place 2 terracotta moving left to connect back to the entrance. I want you to take the top of the black concrete area and extend it across and connect it together like this to form, well, the number 9. We are then going to continue to extend the number 9 left by 3 using black concrete. 1, 2, 3. I then want you to extend down by 2. 1, 2. And then we're going to place terracotta next to these 2 black concrete. 1, 2. This will be more important later on. What you can now do, if you like, is fill in the black concrete areas using your black glass. So that is at the bottom, and then the 2 areas above the top. Just like this. There is going to be a double door here inside this white concrete area. If you destroy the front row connecting the white concrete area together and place some stone slabs in there instead, place a double door in the two right positions inside the empty space with black glass block above the doors, fill the remaining area in with white concrete, you'll have a pretty solid door there. What we are now going to do is continue extending the terracotta that we had down below here. We want to continue extending it right by 5 more rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I then want you to do is place a red concrete block in front of and to the right of this row diagonally. Extend that red concrete upwards by 1 block and then to the left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Destroy the very first red concrete block that you place. Extend every single red concrete block that we have here upwards by 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I do mean every single red concrete block upwards by 7 rows. So you will end up with a large slab of red concrete. Extend that entire area of red concrete 1 row towards us. This is about as big as this shape gets. So this is going to be quite a large branding part for our Wendy's building. We're going to have a sign here later. Now make your way to the right side of your Wendy's. We are going to take this regular terracotta block that we have down at the base of the build, and we are going to extend it backwards by 12 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And on top of this 12th terracotta block, place 6 black concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And extend all the way over to the left, connecting you to the sign, and extend down using your black concrete. Come towards the back of the build, and take the terracotta at the base of the build here, and extend it to the right by 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then place 6 black concrete on top of this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And extend all the way over to the left. Just like that. Now, focusing on this last side of the building, we are going to take the terracotta at the base here and extend it forwards by 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we're going to place 3 rows of white concrete. 1, 2, 3. Raise the white concrete up until they are as high as the ones just in front of them. Extend the terracottas above the white concrete backwards by 2 rows. 1, 2, just like that. We are then going to take the black concrete that we placed earlier, of course, which we raised up. We're going to extend it forwards and connect it over here on the front of the build, just like this. And all we're going to do is on the front of the building extend the top of the black concrete area forwards by 1 row, like that. So on the front of the build you will see that the black concrete is just extended forwards like this. You can even go so far to fill the entire roof in using black concrete. So feel free, if you want to, fill it in using black concrete. Use a contrast material if you like, such as white or even red or whatever material you like really. Alternatively, you can feel free to add glass into the ceiling to provide skylights. However, the internal roof for Wendy's is going to make it difficult to allow natural light in unless you account for that. So I'd recommend just filling it in with a nice solid block colour. Additionally, we are going to place a smooth stone slab trim around the top of the roof. This is going to simply sit on the outside of the black concrete area that we have going all the way around the top of the build. It will just make it look a little bit fancier and a little bit more modern. Once you have got this taken care of, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to begin working on the finer details around our fast food restaurant. On the left side of the build, and we'll work our way around, on the left side of the build, I want you to begin by placing a row of black concrete on the back of the row of white concrete that we have towards the front of the build. Connect the black concrete upwards, like this, to form a solid wall. I want you to cut this area in half. This can easily be done by adding a horizontal row of black concrete in the middle of the two rows of black concrete on the left and right side. Underneath, or on the lower half of the cut in half area, I want you to place two rows of white concrete coming backwards towards the front. I want you to place two rows of white concrete coming forwards from the back corner of the build, a row of black concrete next to the two rows of white, two rows of glass, black concrete, and then two rows of glass. We are going to connect all of the glasses and all of the concretes upwards like this. I want you to extend the row of black concrete in between the two windows, extend it upwards, separating the area up above into two halves. I want you to fill the left part in using white concrete, and the right part fill it in using glass itself, like this. I now want you to swing around to the back of the build, as that side is now done. On the back of the build, we are going to once more cut the area in half horizontally. The lower half of the build is going to be filled in using white concrete. If we were to add windows to the back on the lower half of the build, it might cause problems on the inside. I want you to take the left and right sides of the upper half of the build and place two rows of glass, followed by a black concrete. This is on both sides, so on the left and right side, two rows of glass, followed by black concrete. White concrete completely in the middle, so that the back of the build does have a slight bit of detail, but nothing that would get in our way. What we now want to do is swing around to the opposite side of the build here, and we actually want to sort of have a similar sort of deal to what we have going on that opposite side. So first of all, we're going to focus on the front of the build. We'll start off by placing two rows of glass coming forwards from the very front of the build. 1, 2 rows of glass. Place a black concrete and extend it upwards vertically. I want you to then add another row of glass on top of this single row of two, black concrete on top of that, glass on top, and fill in the entire area. Place two rows of white concrete coming forwards from this window, 1 and 2. Place a row of black concrete, and then place coming down from the top two rows of white concrete, a row of black concrete underneath, split the area in half vertically, fill the left side in here with glass pane. This right side is going to either be a drive-through window or just a regular window. If it's a drive-through window, only place two rows of glass. If it's a regular window, fill it in. We are going to place some oak leaves. The oak leaves are going to begin just right of the main entrance. They're going to come around underneath the red concrete sign, and they are going to come as far back as where the drive-through window is. Just like this. And now that we have done that, ladies and gentlemen, we can focus a little bit more on the rest of the build. Now, one thing that we are going to do whilst we are here is use some red concrete to fill the roof area inside the building to save us doing it later. The red concrete row that I'm going to use for the ceiling for the inside of the fast food restaurant is going to sit underneath the windows that we have placed on the second story of our Wendys. it should hopefully be quite obvious where this row of red concrete goes. I'm sure that you guys will be able to figure it out, no problem. So, get all of this red concrete placed here, and that will save us a little bit of bother later on. Additionally, we're going to add some white concrete here behind the main entrance, or maybe a row of black concrete might look a little bit better, I don't know. We'll have to kind of figure that one out ourselves. And also, whilst we are on the inside, I think that we're also just going to add another row of white concrete behind the entrance area as well. And I'm highly considering either filling this area in using red concrete or a different material. Feel free to pick and choose, but this is what I want the inside to look like before we move on to doing the interior. Now that that is done, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that we're going to do is what I would consider mandatory to make your Wendy's look really good. We're going to get rid of all of these materials. And we're going to get out the banners. That's right, the banners. We need a crafting table, 6 red banners, a load of white dye, and a load of red dye. Maybe not even that much red dye. I'm going to give you guys the option. So, we are going to kick this off by placing a crafting table on the ground. We're going to crack open that crafting table, and we are going to place the dyes and the banners in a more suitable position. So our first letter is W. We're going to place a red banner in the bottom center of the table, white dye left, right and above the banner. Grab the new banner and place it in the middle of the table with red dye right, left and underneath the banner. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table and place white dye up the left and right sides of the banner. We actually can't do that, we have to place it up the left side and then the right side after you have done it up the left. There we go, you have to do that individually. I was getting ahead of myself. And that will be W. So, what you can now do with this banner, you can either plonk it up there on your sign, one row away from the top, starting on the left, you can have your W, which is a nice chunky looking W, which I like. Or, alternatively, this is a slight alternate, you can, once you've finished your banner, place red dye all the way around the outside of your banner, and then place your W. So, whether you want to have a chunkier look or a skinnier look, that is completely up to you. I am going to go for a chunkier version of the sign because I like how it looks. I like how the W, the Wendy's, is actually more overstated. So now let's make our next letter. You have a choice to make. All you have to do is make that simple change at the end of the banners. Place a red banner in the center of the table with white dye coming across the top. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table. Place white dye coming across the bottom. Grab the new banner and place it in the top middle of the table with white dye coming across the center. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table with white dye coming up the left side. Grab the new banner and that is E. You can place the red around it, I'm not going to, that is E. N. Place a new banner in the center of the table with white dye coming up the left side. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table with white dye coming up the right side. Grab the new banner and place it in the middle left of the table with white dye coming top to bottom, top left corner to bottom right corner diagonally. And there is your final banner, or final result, that is your N. We have to do D. D is made by placing a red banner in the center of the table and white dye coming up the right side of the banner. Grab the new banner and place it in the bottom, I believe in the bottom middle of the table with a red dye just above it. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table, white dye coming across the bottom. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table with white dye coming along the left side. Grab the new banner and place it in the center of the table with white dye coming across the top. That is D. I'm going to place these now, so W-E-N-D, Wend. You can kind of see the difference between the letters. I do prefer the chunkier letters in this particular occasion. Let's make Y. Y is going to start off by placing a banner in the middle left of the table. Place white dye coming from the top left corner to the bottom right corner. Grab the new banner and place it in the top middle of the table, with 2 rows of red dye underneath. Grab the new banner and place it in the middle right of the table, with white dye diagonally bottom left to top right corner. Grab the new banner, and that is Y. Place a brand new banner in the center of the table with white dye coming across the top. Grab that new banner and place it in the center of the table with white dye coming across the bottom. Grab that new banner and place it in the middle left of the table with a diagonal row of white dye top left corner to bottom right. That is your final banner required to make the sign, which means all we have to do is add a Y and an S to our sign. And there we have Wendys. I think with the larger lettering, it helps to kind of just fill in the empty space that we have kind of left by having just such a large red block area. I really like that, but feel free to make those letters smaller by adding the borders around the banners after you've finished if you like. So I'm going to put these banners away just in case we, for some weird reason, need them again later. And I'm going to give you a few suggestions on what you can do to the outside now. The outside, from this point onwards, is, by the way, completely up to you. So this is the restaurant outside actually done. These next parts depend on where you are building the actual Wendys restaurant. So if you want to add a drive-through, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to just show you how to add a nice little path outside as well. But all of these things depend on whether you're building it in a crowded city or in a retail park or in a village. It depends on a lot of factors. So add or don't add these at your own discretion. I'm going to use grey concrete, green concrete, lime terracotta, green terracotta, and some smooth stone slab. I want to make a path coming out from the entrance of Wendys, which are these 2 double doors, and the path wants to come out 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. The path is going to be made out of stone slab, so I'm going to extend it out in front of the doorway like this. The path wants to come all the way to the right and line up with the red concrete that we have for the sign. So this is just to give you the context of how I kind of figured out where the path should be. I want to add 3 rows of grass left of the path where the entrance is, and the grass is going to be the same length as the path itself, and it alternates between green terracotta strips and lime terracotta strips, as the entire grass area outside will as well. These 2 rows of grass in front of the sign and between the path and between the building itself are going to also be lime, green, lime, green, lime, green, lime, green, lime, green. We're going to alternate between those colours, extending towards the path like this. Perfect. I'm going to dig 3 entire rows all the way around the build. I'm going to dig out 3 rows and replace these rows using grey concrete. Now these rows are going to begin from the very left side of the build, so just next to the path/grass area, and it's going to finish just on the grass/path area on the opposite side of the build. So it should be quite easy and straightforward to figure out where these rows are going to be. This is where cars would drive through and past Wendys. My cars happen to be about 3 rows wide. So that's why I'm able to just have 3 rows of path. If you like, you can make these rows wider. So if you make cars that are 4 blocks wide, you know what to do. If they're 5, you know what to do. Feel free to alternate the colour of the path, or the colour of the road I should say. I like roads that are grey concrete. Cyan terracotta works as well, any kind of wool works, black concrete works, many different colours you can use for roads. I'm using green concrete to place a border around the edge of the drive-through road. So the green concrete is supposed to act like hedge, and I think it just looks a little bit more modern and clean in conjunction to all of the other hedges that we've placed in the other builds. On the outside of a drive-through, it is not uncommon to find signs telling you what sort of offers are available and pictures of food. If you like, on the outside of your Wendy's restaurant, you can add item frames and signs, kind of just giving people an idea what is sold at your actual Wendy's restaurant / drive-thru. So you would place signs underneath the item frames, and in the item frames you would obviously have pictures of the food that is being sold and a description underneath that. So you'd have like, I don't know, like chicken burger or whatever it is being sold at your Wendy's on that particular day. You guys get the idea. Maybe even the price as well. So maybe you'd have, well, this wouldn't be in pounds because it's not like a British restaurant, but maybe you'd have like, I don't know, like a $3 burger or, you know, however much these things cost. And you could have that on the outside of your restaurant just to kind of add a little bit more of flavor and a little bit more realistic building detail. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the outside of Wendy's complete. You've done a great job in reaching this point here. The next part of this includes a whole different set of materials and ones that we already have used before. So, grab all of these materials that you are now seeing on the screen in front of you and the correct amount of those materials as well. Once you have managed to gather all of those, we can then move on to the next part of this tutorial. I'm going to do that right now. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have just finished gathering all of those materials for myself. Please pause the video if you have to. Take your time to gather all of the things that you're going to need, and once you're ready, we can begin. So, starting off, we're going to come inside of our Wendy's. The first thing that I want to do in here is brighten it up, which means that we're going to use sea lanterns to install lights in the ceiling. So the lights are quite easy to do. Taking any one of the four corners of the roof, you move inwards diagonally by 1, 2. Destroy, place a sea lantern. You do this for every single corner of your Wendy's. So you're in the corner, 1, 2. Destroy, and then it's quite easy to find the same position as you just move along. That'll give you 4 sea lanterns. You'll be able to find that you will be able to place a sea lantern in between the front and back pair directly in the middle. So I'd recommend doing that. That way you'll have a strip of lights on the left and right side of your restaurant. And you probably will find that that's enough light. Add more if you like. We're going to replace the floor. The floor is grass. We are going to turn it into iron blocks. Iron blocks for me just kind of make a good restaurant floor. I don't know why. There's just something about this build in particular, maybe because it's a more modern sort of building that I've went for. I very almost went for a classic looking Wendy's, but the buildings were so ugly that I couldn't bring myself to make one, so I decided to make a more modern version of a Wendy's instead. And with it being a more modern build, number one, white obviously makes sense, especially with modern builds. It's also predominantly white as well on the outside, white, terracotta and red and black. And with the iron blocks, it just seems like something that an actual business would use as a floor. So that's why I've decided to go with iron, but feel free to use any other different materials that you want to use for a floor as you will. But you can see, like, it makes the room look huge. We're going to use red concrete to create a counter. The counter is easy to place. On the side of your building, on the back right corner, we are looking for this block right here. It's quite easy to locate this terracotta block right here next to the drive-through window. Place 8 red concrete going left of this block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Leave a gap of 1 and place 2 red concretes connecting to the wall. Take the concrete that hits the wall and extend it all the way left. Take that concrete that hit the wall and extend it right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Like that. We are going to place 2 quartz stairs above the 2 empty spaces right of the 3 red concretes that we placed going right. We are also going to place quartz stairs blocks coming inwards from both sides of the counter, leaving a gap of 2 on the right, place a stair, leaving a gap of 2 on the left, place a stair. That way they're equally away from each other. Feel free to add either perhaps black carpet or red carpet left and right on the counter just to increase the detail. Once you've done that, we are going to make some seats for our Wendys. People have to sit down to eat. I certainly do, otherwise I'd get out of breath. In the front right corner of your Wendys, here where the sign is, we're going to place a red concrete in the corner. Extend it forwards 2, right 2. Place quartz stairs around the booth with an oak fence in the middle and any kind of tabletop that you want. Any one of those carpets, pick one at random. Leave a gap of 1 going right and place the exact same thing but the opposite. So 3 red concretes, 2 coming outward. So you can see it's the same thing, it's just mirrored. And it's just basically a table and chairs. Oak fence in the middle with whatever choice of colour tabletop you'd like. In the front right corner of the restaurant, or front left as it actually is from the outside, we are going to place a red concrete coming out from the corner, quartz stairs, oak fence, choose a colour for the top of the table, then place a red concrete with another quartz stairs, oak fence, choose a colour for the table, place an opposite facing quartz stairs with a red concrete behind it. So there you can see we've actually got a decent amount of seats now. That looks really good. So I'm actually going to get rid of all of these materials but the chests, and I'm going to grab all of the remaining materials such as the furnaces, cauldrons, iron trapdoors, brewing stands, flower pots, tripwire hooks and item frames. So these are more so for where the counter area is. On the left side, the back left corner of the build, we're going to place a pot. 2 brewing stands going right of it, and then another pot. A double chest going right, and then a double furnace going right. Extend the furnace upwards a row. Place tripwire hooks above the pots and the brewing stands, and double item frames above the chest. I want you to place cauldrons underneath where the extractors are. So those are 2 extractor fans. Above these 2 cauldrons, it's kind of like a frying area. Place iron trapdoors on top of the cauldrons, and place a double chest right of the cauldrons. Place double item frames above the chest, and then feel free to work another chest in here somewhere if you like. Maybe like one on the floor here, maybe even one there. Something like that, you know? Now, it's up to your discretion what sort of things you might want to put in the item frames, whether you want to include them at all. You might want to maybe put some bread and maybe some different meats and stuff in the item frames, just to illustrate that food is kept inside of them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the very simple interior for our Wendys. I actually like it a lot like this. I've went for a more simpler version on purpose because it looks more modern this way. It looks nice and clean and modern. It's really simple to make and it looks great. It just goes with the outside of the building. I think it's like a very nice, clean, modern building. Let me show you the entire build all in one go so we can fully appreciate what we've just built. So this is what our Wendys will look like once it has been 100% fully completed. We have a nice, distinct, clean, modern building that I can honestly tell you looks a lot better than the classic building. Honestly, if I would have made the classic building, I don't think that you guys would have been happy because it was not a pretty looking restaurant. This, on the other hand, will fit very nicely, especially if you have a more up-to-date city. It'll even fit in a more classic environment. Not only do we have a nice, clean, modern design that has a drive-through and a pathway and plenty of greenery on the outside, but the inside interior is very well thought out. It's also very, very clean. It's not cluttered. It works very, very well. It fits in nicely with the color scheme for the outside. It all blends together seamlessly. There's ways to cook food. There's plenty of places to keep it. There's places to take money. There's a drinks area, and there are plenty of seats as well around the actual restaurant building. And that's all there is to it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very, very much. Not only that, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. Very important indeed. And not only that, if you have some suggestions on what I should make next, please leave a suggestion down below. That is why I make all of these tutorials, due to suggestions and what you guys want to see. And if you would like to check out any of my previous builds, we have many city builds. If you're working on a city, then hopefully you'll be able to find more things that will help you out in the card system and the description below out of the city builds tutorial playlist. You can see that we have so many builds here, I can't even name them. So feel free to check out that playlist and you might be able to find some stuff that you're looking for. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate all of you very, very much. Have a great day. Goodbye.